What's the deal?
Why for? Why for YouTube? Why for? Why for no Wi-Fi? Why for no connection?
I don't know why it's not connecting to YouTube.
And we were just settling in.
Well, it says starting.
What about now? How about now?
Live.
How about now?
Wow.
Looks like we're back live from the studio again with Evan Backstabber. Bastard.
I could totally kill this damn setup.
40.
Who knows how long it's going to last?
Right. 40 whacks with the wet noodle board.
When I was a kid.
What in the entire nation is going on here? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, how's it going? How about now?
All right, it's back. Yeah, we're gonna pull the cord quite a bit. All right, this is fun. Hi from Vietnam. What's up, brother? All right, back to the questions. So I have no idea how long this is gonna work or if it's going to work, but it's back at least for a short period of time. And Ryan, back with the questions. First question, and he's the first question this time again. He says, how did we meet? So I was going to let you answer that. It's been quite a few years, and it was because of a female that we actually met. So,
Yep, just so happened to be somebody that you guys happen to know through the church that we were going to, and ironically enough, it was through a marriage class. I think was one of the main first hangouts, and then I think it was also her just saying, "Hey, these are some great friends of mine I want you to meet." And I was like, "Well, okay. Well, I'm not too sure about this, but let's see how it goes." Few marriage seminars, a few other church events, and then eventually hanging out at your guys' house later, and maybe a 4th of July event here and there. Next thing you know, besties.
So where are you from? Tech guy wants to know, where are you from?
Well, all over the place. If you want to get technical, I've actually had 26 different addresses in my life, but for the majority of time, I got stuck in Illinois for about 16 years. Originally moved there from here, and after that 16 years and a few different roommate situations and all that, I was under an unemployment situation that lasted about 9 months. Came out here to visit some family, looked for a job while I was out here, and then actually on my way back home, got a call from my younger brother saying, "Hey, my boss wants to sit down and have an interview with you." And I'm like, "Well, that's actually not going to work out very well. I'm literally about 1,500 miles away from there right now, so if he wants to do a phone interview, no problem." Talked to me for about a half hour, and next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I packed my whole life up and moved back down here again.
So I was born in Colorado, spent 10 years in Nebraska. Go Cornhuskers! What? And then I spent
Flatlanders, eh?
something like that. And then I spent the rest of my time pretty much here in Colorado. But I did spend time, obviously, when I was in the Navy in places like California and stuff. So I've done a little bit of traveling. But Bobby Roundtree asks if I am going to do a Padme video. So I did record Tier 7. I did do it without Droidica, and I did do it without B1. In fact, the tip of the day, Warriors tip of the day, is don't use B1. B1 shoots out of turn, and every time he shoots out of turn, he gives 40% protection up, stacking, lockable, and undispellable, and that makes them nearly invincible. So the brand new pay-to-play character that you could spend tons of money on actually would make the event harder. If you drop B1, it actually becomes far easier. I dropped him. I actually used General Grievous lead with Asajj Ventress and Sunfac, and then I used B2 Battle Droid, and I used whatever Magna Guard, whatever the heck that guy's name is. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. I do have it recorded, and I do want to make a video on it. Hopefully, I was going to do that tonight, but we ran out of time. It's midnight where we're at, and we're having a beer at midnight and talking to you guys. So we did that instead of making a Padme video.
And let's be honest, break from Star Wars.
Andrew says, "What are you doing? Force Canada has a Sith raid going on right now." Like, in my shorts. No, I I will do my 150,000 to 250,000 damage sometime tomorrow. I'm not a huge contributor yet on that.
Don't worry, I'll land my scratch at some point.
So Ryan actually asks, why did I start YouTube? Why do you think I started YouTube?
You're an attention whore. Yeah, you just don't have enough of it. No.
All right, there you have it. Attention whore. And have a nice day. Keep your gaming on. Warrior out. No.
Demonetized.
Demonetized. So, no. Why do you think I did it aside from that? Because that's obvious. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it would be the obvious love for not only the game, but also just strategy in general. Since you pick this kind of stuff up so quickly and easily, it would only make sense to offer your wisdom to other people that might be interested in this game, since you were that far ahead that quickly.
So what happened was, I actually didn't want to play mobile games anymore. I had a bit of a fiasco with a previous mobile game. I had gotten really deep in Stormfall, Rise of Valor, and I ended up running an entire alliance of guilds. The alliance of guilds was called Warriors Elite. Warriors Elite were it was my guild. I created it at the foundation of that game, at the beginning of that game. I was in their alpha, their beta, and I launched with that, and I built up over 1,000 leagues, or 1,000 guilds, and each guild had 100 people. Eventually went to 125 people per guild. So we had well over 1,000 people in this, and of course there was a huge map, and it was taking over these beacons and stuff. And looks like we lost our stream. Did we lose our stream? Okay, says no active stream. I have no idea. Says video output very low. I have no idea. Can you guys still see us? Because it still show it's going.
Give a shout out if you can.
Well, it says it's still going, so we're going to keep going. But long story short, I basically ran that and got so tired and so burned out that I said no more mobile games. And so I stopped doing mobile games. The good news is a friend of mine convinced me to play this game over and over and over, and finally I did. But when I started playing the game, I was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I couldn't figure out how to do certain stuff in the game. I mean, this game's kind of layered like an onion, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, how am I supposed to do this, or how am I supposed to do that? And so anyway, I asked my son, I'm like, yo, how do I do this? And he's like, I don't know, YouTube it. And I was like, YouTube it? And he's like, yeah, YouTube it. And so I YouTubed it. Well, this was over 3 years ago, and I YouTubed it, and there was nothing. I was like, there's nothing. So what do I do now? And he's like, well, I don't know, figure it out. So I looked online. I found that there was a really popular guild called Team Instinct, and they were pretty big in the game. And I thought, okay, so these guys have to know. So I was level 72, and they were all level 80. And because I didn't start at launch was in like October, November, and I started in like June, so like 8 months late. And I said, you guys are going to have to fight me or let me join. And they were like, well, you're level 72, and because you're level 72, we can't take you. We only take level 80 players. Plus, we only take whales. And I said, well, I'm one of the biggest whales you'll ever meet. And they said, okay, fine, we'll give you a shot. So that's how I got into Team Instinct. Once I was in Team Instinct,
this guy's confident already.
Yeah, I was a bit arrogant, and they liked that. So that's Team Instinct for you. So anyway, I convinced them that they wanted me. Before I was ever even level 80. By the way, I'm the first and only Team Instinct player in history to be allowed in under level 80. I was allowed in at level 72. Pretty funny. Super arrogant, but it helped me get in. And yeah, long story short, they taught me a lot. And after I started learning, I started taking it to YouTube to show and teach everybody else, because I thought if I know, other people should know. So I thought that was really important for other people to know. Looks like we're kind of having issues again.
Just not going to give us a clean one tonight, are they?
No, they just really want to kill the stream. I don't know if it's because we're outside or what, but it's pretty weak. It's still rolling, but it is really weak.
The laptop is so relaxed next to this fire. Just can't
it says chat is disconnected and everything's red. I just don't know. It's green again. And it's rolling, but man, it is really, really weak.
Just wants to fight us every step of the way, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think this live stream is going to work too well. It's all red. Red is dead. Roads.
It's already telling me it's time to be done. Wait, no, not yet.
Yeah, it says video output low.
Wah wah.
And
Lamb
it,
sauce.
and it disconnected chat, so we can't see the chat.
In the meantime, enjoy me warming my hands by the fire.
I know, right? There's 51 trying to jump on. This sucks. It's definitely trying, but
Live, live stream, live.
I know, right? They say it's a bit choppy, but it's all fine. I don't know about fine. It's less than fine for sure. Ryan says, watch some of your old videos. It's interesting to see how the game progressed. And I saw that 6 weeks into the game, you had like 10 to 15 7-star characters. Crazy. Yeah, for sure. I was definitely a whale back then as well. I the first like month, I actually chose not to whale out, and then I decided I really liked the game and just went absolutely bananas after that.
Since been whaling.
Yeah. Let's see. It's the Colorado Mountains. That's hilarious. Roll with it. Audio's fine. Video's low res. That's okay. Your beers are going to get warm. That's right. So why don't you guys ask a question to Sureshot so he can answer a question.
You know what? He was actually right.
You mean mine is still cold.
Just got to rotate my beer, you know.
Yeah, let's see. What questions do you guys have for Sureshot? So I started YouTube because I wanted to share the information I was learning. I thought it was selfish of me to learn something in a really high-end guild and not teach the community everything that I was learning, because I thought it was really cool stuff. And so that's why I started sharing, and I hope that everybody out there has learned something. So
sharing is caring.
Yeah, sharing is caring. Why don't you tell us something that we don't know about you?
Something you wouldn't know. Well, I stand about 5 foot 10 inches tall. I don't enjoy long walks on the beach because I don't live near one. Probably would if I did, you know, but then at that point I'd probably in turn miss the mountains after being away from them. So kind of one of those give and take things, you know, you miss what you don't have. So could be one of those. I do enjoy a good scotch now thanks to this guy. Didn't really like it before, but definitely growing on me. Kind of like this thing is. What else? I really enjoy playing guitar, but I hardly ever do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you play more than 3 chords?
Many chords. It's interesting too. After playing I've been playing since I was 15 years old, but I take these long 3-year breaks sometimes. So I guess you could say I haven't consecutively played guitar, but it's interesting what will hang with me after that 3-year period. I'll go and pick it up and go, oh man, I can't believe I remember that song all the way through, or I can't believe I still have some dexterity. You know, obviously there's still the issue of playing an acoustic guitar and not having the callus anymore. That starts to hurt pretty quickly.
So Matthew said I missed story time because you weren't in my last live stream, so we're making up for it now.
Yes, this is story hour.
Super Bowl predictions. Go.
Super Bowl predictions this early? Let's see here. I gotta say my 2 teams are kind of different because I don't really watch football that much, but I got into watching the Cubs because of a guy who is a avid Bears fan. But I did watch the back-to-back Super Bowl wins by the Broncos, so kind of got a little bit of ties to both of them there. So I guess it kind of depends, AFC and NFC, depending on what's going on there. I might kind of jump ship one way or the other. So I would say when it came right down to it, my home team is definitely the Broncos, because when I first started watching back when I was like 5-6 years old, and then secondary team would definitely be the Bears, but can't predict either one of those this time around because they're not doing so hot. All I predict is hope to God, not another New England.
Bobby Roundtree wants to know, what are you working on currently on your roster?
My current roster?
And also, have you ever whaled out ever on anything really in the game? You really haven't. You're basically mostly free to play.
Yep.
But
There has
What are you
been an
working on?
occasional time where the crystal packs were on a good deal and they're just too hard to pass up, but that's been twice since I've been playing the game. So my current roster right now was working towards Old Republic for Revan, and of course got to watch him sail on by again. So
Sail away, sail away,
save a whale.
Sail a whale. Sail a whale?
Sail a whale, save a whale, either one. Nope, I would say Old Republic was for a little while, but now that I got to watch Revan pass on by again, I instantly hopped on to my Bad News Bears, the Ewoks. So I was hoping for the 3PO event to come around again, and we'll see if I strike gold, but sitting at 4 and 5 stars on most of them, they're all Gear 8 now, so we'll see how that goes.
What stuff do you use in your beard? Like what chemicals or whatever?
Depends.
Product. Sorry,
Depends on if I actually want to keep it nice or whatever. I've taken some practice and gotten some tips about using a blow dryer, which I've never really done before, but that's actually keeping it straighter and a little less flyaways. But otherwise, my friend of mine that was dating previously for a while there, she bought me some lavender and something else, beard balm, beard oil that was been working out pretty good too when I actually want to throw something in there and make it look a little bit more sleek, a little nice. But as a whole, just pretty much shampoo and conditioner.
Sweet.
Yeah. Seems to be working too, because I got to trim it again.
So, Xylo Takedown asks, are you going to ever start a channel?
Yeah.
First video night.
Yeah, actually, there's some things in the works. I got a buddy of mine who will be moving back to the area and will become a roommate. So we both have a lot of creative melding going on. We actually really finish each other's sentences when it comes to comedy and things like that. So there could be a variety show channel popping up at some point under my name, but we'll see how that works out. We got to work out some technical kinks, some camera equipment and all that, and maybe see about getting monetized, and then who knows? I will definitely make an announcement if that ever happens, because I think it's more of a possibility than it ever used to be.
All right. Yeah, it's the same friend. He's coming down. He's a pretty funny cat, so we'll see. He was in one of my live streams. He was the floating head. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
You're
You
like,
did talk me for a second.
floating head.
Actually, I think that was my first live stream with you, so yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
That's pretty funny. So, World Free asks, hey, any advice for 3 versus 3 Jedi? Still kind of the staple for a 3 versus 3 Jedi is going to be, Revan with Jolie and General Kenobi. But a lot of people are now shifting that to an offensive team and actually going to like a General Kenobi or Padme lead with Anakin and Ahsoka. So that's kind of the thought process there. And then what age do you think this is Ryan again, what age do you think the game is aimed at, and do you think the younger players can be competitive in the game? Asking because I'm a younger player. So I'd have to say, Ryan, I do think that it's aimed at 18 to 38-year-olds primarily, but that they're happy to get younger and older players outside of that, with the majority of players being 24 to 44. And so as a young...
A few of my guild members are in their 40s.
Yeah, there's a lot of 40-year-olds. Yep. And I think that as a young player, you can be competitive, but you have to be hyper-focused. And then Andu says, hey, what's up, Sureshot? And Cal Drogo, what's up, Cal Drogo? He says, what's up, the Bears? Nathaniel Morgan asks, did you see...
Bears.
Yeah, da Bears. Did you see the Nuggets game? And the answer to that is no, I didn't. Bobby Roundtree wants to know, how close to Denver are you guys, and how's the weather been lately? And then Andrew Boys, who's part of our Force Canada, asks, will I be on the Discord chat tomorrow? So day tomorrow, I'm going to try to jump on that chat, but I will be at work with one other person, brand new person I just hired. So I may or may not be on that. But Bobby, Denver is about 250 miles away, and the weather has been...
Well, depending on the night or the morning, you could be anywhere from 30s to 50s at night, and then during the day we've been in the 50s to 70s.
Yeah, so it's been, it's been like getting sunny and in the 70s during the day. We did have a couple of freak rainstorms, hailstorms that just kind of roll through. Even had a day a few weeks ago that tried to snow on us. So the weather, it's like people say you can't have all 4 seasons in one day, and Colorado's like, hold my beer, you know, for sure.
Welcome to Colorado. You don't
I
like
know.
the weather? Just wait 10 minutes.
All right, so if I gave you $10,000, what would you do for $10,000? It has to be something that you have to, obviously, you'd have to earn $10,000.
Like
So
a challenge of some kind?
yeah, it'd have to be something like, running naked down the main street for 10,000?
Yeah.
Would you do that?
No, mostly for the benefit of everybody in this town. I wouldn't do that. I can't blind that many people at one time. That's just cruel. I don't know. I've always been a camper. As a young kid, my parents didn't have a lot of money, so our family vacations and our getaway time was always packing up the minivan and heading up to the mountains for a couple of days and getting there, super late because my dad got off work super late, and then being miserable through a rainstorm or a snowstorm or something like that, and then waking up the next morning, and then all of a sudden it was the best idea we've ever had. So I've done a lot of glamping since then, nice fancy trailer and all that. So I would say for 10 grand, I would totally bushcraft camp for at least 5 nights. Like absolutely go out there, just a couple of tools and maybe a sleeping bag.
That's lame.
Lame?
I would do that for free. I don't know why he'd need to be paid to do that. I would prefer to do that.
Hey, might as well get paid while you're doing something you like.
Although my back would probably be pissed at me for doing that. But would you...
I mean, I wouldn't get naked and run backwards through a cornfield, that's for sure.
Let's see. Would you drink a gallon of milk for $10,000? You have to drink the whole gallon of milk immediately. Like, you can't, there's no, like,
Have
delay.
you seen that
10
challenge
minutes.
before?
10 minutes, yeah. 10
I
minutes.
would give it my all, but I would be puking all over the place in no time because statistics show, or human biology says, that the human body cannot hold a gallon of milk. At some point, you will throw up. I mean, unless I was like 350 pounds maybe and had the room for it. I don't know, but...
But would you attempt it for $10,000, drink a gallon of milk in 10 minutes?
Does a bear crap in the woods?
I think the answer is yes. I don't know. I've never been in there. No, I'm just kidding. Matthew Garcia says, I have a question. Are you planning on doing anything special for farming because of the double drops for May 4th? May the 4th be with you. For me personally, I'm just staying on target. I'm trying to finish Droideka because I still am farming Droideka, and I'm still farming. Well, the Emperor Shuttle just became farmable, so I'm trying to farm the Emperor Shuttle. Are you doing anything?
Hoping for a little extra help on the bad news bears. That's about it. Otherwise, if I had any feasible way of getting anything before, well, actually the Revan event's already over, isn't it? So yeah, nothing but the Ewoks at this point. Hoping for 3PO.
Ewoks it is for 500, Johnny. All right. So Daniel Adams says he's never made a live stream. So good on you for making a live stream. That's pretty awesome. And Ryan says, thanks for your videos. They've helped me realize I'm really behind and I have jumped 2,000 ranks in Arena because your free-to-play series is very cool. That's the idea of that whole entire video.
Appreciate the guidance. Don't think about how late you are to the game.
Yeah, so it says, I'm going to get my beer. Besides Drevin and Malik, any counters to Padme and her posse? I think that General Grievous is going to be a counter, and his team is going to be a counter for that team. Revan is, of course, Jedi Knight Revan. I think that JTR is going to be a possible, and I think CLS is going to be able to do it too. CLS, they get some extra bonus protection when people shoot out a turn, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. We will see, but with the amount of damage that Chewie throws down, bonus damage, I think it's still enough to kind of chew through that team. We will see, but that's a solid team for sure. So we'll see.
Next to him and you're calling to assist all the time, and that just is massive.
And Bobby Roundtree asks when I'm coming to Arizona to do a fan thing with Cubs fan Han. It'd be fun to go to Arizona. I like Arizona a lot. I actually have some friends that work and live down there in Arizona. Mesa, Tempe, Phoenix, Flagstaff. So, like, there's a bunch of really cool places down there. I don't know when the next trip will be. I don't have any immediate plans to do so. Ryan asks, Sureshot, why did you start the game? Oh, no.
I wasn't planning on starting the game. I had no intention of doing such things. Thank this guy over here. Up until that point, I'd been playing a game called Invasion, Invasion Modern Empire. That's what it was. A tap for fun game, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. It's a company out of Hong Kong, and don't waste your money. I'll tell you right now, just don't do it. You think Capital Games is bad? Good grief. After nice. After a couple $1,000s wasted on that one, and being a guild leader of at that time too, guilds being 150 people, it was just getting to be too much time and effort, and you also had to be available for 2 events every week, and if you didn't shield your base, you were getting destroyed, no questions asked. There was no way you could walk away, take a second away from it. If you weren't there at the time to place a 24-hour shield, that of course cost money, cost diamonds, you were just getting ransacked. So that got old quick, and he was like, hey, what about this game I've been playing for a little while? It's getting my YouTube channel going, and pretty much just sitting on the john using my cell phone making videos at this point, so it's a pretty cool game. You're gonna like it. Maybe you should try it out. I'm like, well, I've kind of, me and games have had a rough go of it so far, so I just want to be single for a little bit, I just kind of want to see how I am, maybe grow a little bit as a person, and then next thing you know, it's just, well, here, I'll help you get started on this account, and we'll get you a good, shoe in the door. We'll see how things go from there, and then, well, 2+ years later, here I am, still screaming at my phone, throwing it across the room.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you dislike the Padme event, and why is it 10?
Well, again, I've had the advantage of being able to play in a different account that had a little bit better opportunities towards that, so it was a pain in the butt even on that level, let alone down at my current level on my actual account. It is ridiculous. I'm stuck at tier 4, and things are going pretty good at that point, and then tier 5 rolls around, and suddenly my eyes roll in the back of my head, and I'm on the ground convulsing and spitting foam out. It's not a fun event, mostly because I'm sitting with 3 decent Geos, 1 terrible Poggle the Useless, and a Gear 8 Asajj. So that's why I don't like the Padme event very much, because it's not even a possibility of getting her at this time around.
All right, so I'll tell you why I don't like the Padme event, because the Padme event, they said that the new Separatist droids, they said was going to be like the Chewie event, where it was going to be tuned for like the newer characters, but that you could win with the older characters maybe. Somebody might be able to do it with the older characters, but that you really want the new characters because it'll make the event easier. And for anybody that wailed out on Droideka, they know that that's true. If you have General Grievous and his Zetas, and then you have Droideka, it was like a walk in the park. But for anybody that used B1, which was a new character, I actually went for B1. I Zetaed B1 early on, and so I spent some money to get his shards. I purchased his shards out of the store, like whenever they were available for premium crystal costs. And I tried to get him prematurely up, and he ended up becoming a detriment in the event. He actually makes it worse in the event, and he's a pay-to-play character, was up until just a couple of days ago, and so I actually invested in a character that they had made a suggestion would make the event easier, and it actually made the event harder. And as someone who spent money on that character, I thought that was ironic that they would make a character that would make the event more difficult and punish us for spending money, and I ended up having to drop
dirt in your eye by making you pay for it.
Yeah, and then I had to drop him, and once I dropped the B1 battle droid, I did just fine, and I actually got through it. I just found that interesting. Stinger Gaming asks, and this looks like a great time to ask Sureshot, has he ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yes.
No, Master, please tell me.
He's good at quoting stuff, too, so... let's see. That courage mechanic on Padme's posse makes Barriss a heavy damage dealer. That's true. Barriss swinging her wet noodle of death scares the bejesus out of me. That's hilarious. I do say she hits like a wet noodle, but I saw her and General Kenobi hitting for some crazy damage. I had General Kenobi hit for 48k on a basic, because of his courage buff, and I thought,
what?
yeah, I thought that was pretty insane because they convert their bonus protection to these stacks of courage, and then they use the courage on the next attack that does 40%. For every 5 stacks, 40% bonus damage, 40% of their health bonus damage, which is
So
just
only
nuts.
if the turn of events actually works out correctly.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, they get bonus protection if anyone shoots out a turn,
Yeah,
which
okay.
is like half the team. So they gain all that bonus protection, and she can give bonus protection up, and so can Anakin. So it's a pretty cool team.
Interesting mix.
All right, side effect. Late to the stream here, but I watched McMull's video about Padme beating Darth Revan and Malak in less than a minute. I have the Sith Empire team. Should I be worried since I will not be getting Padme? No side effect. You shouldn't. That team can beat Padme pretty easily, and Padme can beat it potentially with the perfect storm of mods and maxed out characters. So I would not be worried. Yeah, I would not be worried too much about McMull's video. Ryan wants to know, Frug asks, do you play any other games? He's talking to me specifically, but currently I play Blades, the Elder Scrolls Blades on the computer, or not on the computer, but on my phone, because Blades is in early release. It's now technically today. It went to beta, so now anyone can download Blades. And if you like the Elder Scrolls series of games, it's the Elder Scrolls series of games, but on your mobile phone. It's actually really, really fun. I think you guys would really enjoy it.
Except for those of us with outdated phones.
Yeah, unless you have an outdated phone that's not supporting it. All right. Let's see. I'm on T5 free to play. It's been a rough day. Oh man, that is tough for sure. Seaball24 says, "Where are you guys?"
Where is anybody? Are we here? Can you even hear us? If you weren't popping up on this message board, would we even assume that you were here? No.
So we drug my laptop, my high def camcorder, and then a crappy mic because I didn't want to bring my good mic outside.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And we're sitting out on my back porch, in the corner of my back porch, and we figured we were just going to cap the night with a couple of beers and chat on the back porch, and we figured, why not include all of y'all? So that's what we're doing.
Welcome
Yes, welcome, welcome.
to a fireside chat where probably too much information's being spread around.
So they said, how did we meet? That was answered earlier. We actually met at church through a chick that he was dating that was friends with us, that we knew, her, and he was kind of new to town and was dating her. She was hot, by the way, but she was a psycho. She was genuinely...
We all make mistakes, fellas. No comment.
No comment. Yeah, she was... Yep. Anyway,
Easy on the eyes, hard on the mentality.
really easy on the eyes, hard on the mentality. That is for sure. Are you guys running Padme in Arena or going to stick with Drevin? He's not doing either, Ryan. And I am going to continue to run Drevin, although I have to say, I honestly do not enjoy running Darth Revan at all. Not fun. I'm not having much fun on my main account. I have more fun on my Scissorman account. Love the Scissorman account, although I'm having a hard time getting into the top 24 because it's just really tough. Top 20, what the heck? Top 24?
Oh, look at that! We had a moth land right in the flame. I thought he was gonna dance around it for
A
a
moth
second,
in the
but-
flame? Isn't that a song? A moth to the flame? I don't know. I'm just gonna make up a song.
Might as well.
All
We
right.
can call him Crispy Moth now.
So how excited are you for episode 9?
I would be much more excited if it wasn't for the previous 2 episodes. I tried really hard for Force Awakens, I really did, but I thought it was just a remake of A New Hope. But Last Jedi was definitely here's mud in your eye. I really thought that they took a lot of cues from the fans and said, okay, cool, now we're not going to do any of that, and we're going to change it around so you're wrong. If they retcon Rian Johnson's Last Jedi in this situation, they will definitely score some brownie points with me, some redemption, but I'm trying yet again to keep an open mind. We'll see what happens. I will still see it. I don't know if I'll pay money for it or not, but I will still see it at some point just because I'm curious. I want to see what they're going to do with it. And especially Rise of Skywalker raises a lot of red flags. Who are they talking about specifically? Will we get Mark Hamill back in this movie to have some kind of worthwhile redemption? I don't know. But one true fan can only hope. For a New Hope.
For a New Hope. Okay, so Adrian says he's had Blades out since early access and he's pretty disappointed. And I have to say, remember, it's a shell of a game. It's a shell of a game. It's brand new early access beta. You can't expect a whole lot of feature-rich content early on. It's going to be kind of the same thing, right? You go out to a dungeon, you kill some stuff, you get some swords and gold, you temper some armor, and you kind of increase your armor over time.
Toss the trash and keep the valuables.
Yeah, once you get up a little bit higher, it starts to get a little more fun. But they're gonna put a bunch of new stuff in there. So Bobby Roundtree, he's a good guy. He's asking me, have we seen the new Avengers movie and what did we think? Both of us have seen it, and I think they said the official spoiler release is Monday, where Monday we can officially start talking about the movie. But until then, in-game, the Avengers is actually asking us not to officially talk about it publicly, and I kind of want to honor that because there are some people that are still trying to see it this week, so I apologize, but all I'll say is it was really, really good. I like the movie. I thought they did a really phenomenal job with it. Matthew Garcia has a question. It says, for you and Sureshot, what are your favorite cuts of beef on the grill? I'm from Texas, so spare ribs are the king. And what are yours?
I've heard tell that they don't do this cut of meat anymore, or like maybe it's not as popular or something. I'm not sure, because you can't go wrong with a ribeye. Good marbling, you got to have a little fat in there, like all good men. But Porterhouse was definitely my favorite, and from what I hear, either they don't do it as much anymore, or it's not as popular or something. I'm not sure, but there's been a couple of times where it was just the right marinade. Maybe it was just the right cut from somebody who did it on a Tuesday as opposed to a Friday. Who knows? But I tell you what, especially how it's prepared, just absolutely mouth-watering, like melt in your mouth kind of stuff. So I would say for sure my favorite.
And I would say that a filet mignon, if it's done right, is awesome because it's not too much food, especially when you're going to places that serve good food. A lot of times there's a lot of sides, and you don't want to get too full on all the sides, so there's that. We do have...
I always feel like the steak is one of the best things to reheat, though. So fill up on the veggies, fill up on the free bread, all that stuff. Eat as much steak as you can. If you can't finish it, that's the best thing to take home and reheat later.
So I got a question. Arthur Cook said, did I get a 7-star Padme? I did on my main account. Did not even unlock her on my alt account. I think I got her 3 or 4 stars on my alt account, Scissorman account, because I have Gear 11 Geos, and I got through phase 1 through 4, but I think phase 5 I was struggling, and I have not unlocked her. Have not, for sure, unlocked her on my Scissorman account. Ryan Frug asks, what other YouTubers do I feel the closest to? And I have to say, the group that I feel closest to might surprise might surprise a lot of people. Arnold, T101, Chris, and Trevor, who is Mobile Gamer, are probably the top 2 that I feel closest to. But in that group, there's actually 4 YouTubers I feel really, really close with. Aside from Arnold and Trevor, it's actually Remon, which is actually Ramon, but he goes by Remon from the Alliance. And then Mist Passiert, which a lot of people know, but not everyone does. And Mist Passiert is a good friend of mine as well. I talk to Mist all the time. I talk to Remon weekly. I don't talk to Mobile Gamer or Arnold a lot because the 3 of us are exceptionally busy. But those are the 4 I feel closest to, and the 4 that I have the best kind of working relationship with, even though we don't see each other a ton. And then someone, Darth Microtransaction, says he likes the fire pit. So do I. That's why we're sitting around it. Tin Cup Dallas says, set my best mate up on a new account. He's following your Scissorman advice, so keep up the good work. Very cool. Let's see. How much do you think Padme will affect the new territory battles? I think she's going to be a critical character for the new territory battles. I think she's going to really help with unlocking a specific character, probably. Chad, he says Moth to the Flame. It's a Metallica song.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little bit of a Metallica fan. I should know that.
Slightly, yeah. I can't even believe it. I knew it. I was just like, yeah, a beer in me, a couple beers in me,
I guess.
couple, 3 or so. I don't know. We're not counting. Uncle
Controlling
JJ.
faster. I should just reload my brain because, sometimes I just get stuck in Garage Incorporated, but you never know.
So, Robert Paulson says Uncle JJ is going to redeem the Skywalker legacy. I really, really, really hope so. Ryan, a few asks again, have I seen Endgame? Yes, I have. We won't talk about it, but I thought it was amazing. Side note, I had a coworker that I ended up letting go this week, and he spoiled it for me. He made sure to tell me before he left what happened before I watched the movie. What a jerk. Yeah, I'm glad he's gone. But
that deserved a 5-fingered open hand, right to left slap.
For sure. Ryan says, how much money do you think you have spent in the game? That's like asking a woman her weight. You probably shouldn't do that. Honestly,
Mobile Gamer actually had a pretty good point about that. He said there's a way you can actually go back and check, or at least just to check your Gmail receipts or whatever, or your receipts for through the app store that you pay through. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I'll almost guarantee you it's double what you think it is.
Yeah, so what I did was, because it's a business, I have a Discover card that's exclusively for business. And so every transaction, every purchase, every piece of equipment, everything, if I travel, anything, if I do anything business related, it goes on the Discover, and then I pay the Discover off every month, and I use the income to pay off the Discover card. And so that, at the end of the year, last year, I made $37,000 and I wrote off about $26,000. So of the $26,000, probably $20,000 maybe was the game, which is absolute insanity. But that'll give you an idea of what you can spend. May not have been quite $20,000 on the game fully, but because I had some trips in there and some equipment in there. But
Was that for the year or
for the whole year? For the whole year. But I mean, it was still at least. It came out to it couldn't have been a full 20,000 because it was not a full 1,000 a month, but it was like an average of about 800 a month investment into the game for YouTube, and then of course YouTube paid me back plus some, but it wasn't a ton paid back because of the spending.
Well, of course, if you're paying attention to CG carry, I mean, $4,000 to $5,000 a year in the game is nothing. I mean, that's what they expect of you, right?
Yeah, apparently that's what she expects people to do just to get caught up to a particular meta. So that's interesting. Let's see. So Nick Witt says, me and you, Sureshot, what is your favorite country besides the U.S. that you've been to? So I've only been to 2 countries. I've been to Canada and Mexico, which is all on my continent. I haven't done a ton of travel, sadly. I know it's super sad. I'm 40 and I haven't gotten around a ton, but I love the culture and the weather and the food of Mexico. It's absolutely amazing. How about you?
Well, I can't talk about that, but what I can tell you, I can definitely say that there's certain cultures that have interested me enough that I do need to travel there at some point. But the furthest out of the country, and some even wouldn't technically consider this out of the country I've been, is the Bahamas. I mean, I guess that's kind of incorporated, kind of like Puerto Rico. It's not really ours, but it's kind of is. So, yeah, as far as that goes, there's other countries I'd like to visit at some point. I would definitely like to go about the ancestral things where, I can check out some of my lineage back to London and Ireland, but other than that, I would definitely like to see Australia. That would be probably my first place that I'd go and visit if I just suddenly had the money to up and go and had the passport and all that.
So if I had the opportunity to go anywhere in the world, I would do a European tour, but specifically, very, very specifically, it would be Athens, Greece, and Rome, Italy. Athens, Greece, and Rome, Italy. For the history alone, I would want to do a historical tour of both of those cities. The Pantheon, the Parthenon, all those buildings. Being able to actually see them in person, I think that would be super amazing. Let's see. Paul Ozilla says, "Can you relate to the SWGoH burn from Darth, Revan, Malak, and now Padme?" Yeah, I think people are getting exhausted and getting kind of, one of those things where it just starts to kind of wear at a gamer. There's a lot of people quitting. There's also a lot of people starting. So it's kind of a seasonal thing. It's a season of your life. You play it for a period of time. When you feel like you've had enough, you quit and you move on. Other people are just now picking it up, and that's kind of how it works. Ryan asks, do I watch my own videos as well as other YouTubers like Arnold? So I sometimes watch my own videos back simply for critique purposes, editing, audio, those kinds of things, to see how things are playing out. Is the audio sounding correct? Which I know the audio sucks tonight. But normally I check to see if audio is good, if the video is good, things like that. How bad was lag, if it was a live stream, all that. But I don't really have the time to watch other videos from other YouTubers. I haven't seen another YouTuber's video in a long time. Darth Microtransaction says he doesn't want to check his receipts. He also met Mobile Gamer and Arnold and said that they're both really friendly, and Mobile Gamer is awesome, and Chris is awesome as well. Let's see, who's the character?
Mobile Gamer.
Yeah, you got to hang out.
I can attest to Mobile Gamer at least. Otherwise, the rest of all just kind of seen their videos here and there. But I probably only watched 3 videos of each YouTuber just out of curiosity, or because it had an enticing or hilarious title.
So Ryan's last name is Fruget. It's French. Je m'appelle Christian. Et tu t'appelles comment? Comment t'appelles-tu? Oh. Fruget.
It's kind of like seeing Benoit spelled, but then I was trying to pronounce it like the
yeah.
way
I took French for 3 years in high school. I was fluent, and they said you need to go to France and you need to be immersed in it, or you're going to lose it. And then I never went because I couldn't afford it, because I was as a single mom raising 3. My mom was a single mom raising 3 kids, totally in poverty. But obviously she was proud, so she didn't want to take any government support or anything like that. So we didn't get to do a lot of stuff because, she did it all on her own. So didn't get to go on the French trip, and I lost it all. I know how to basically... I've got about 20 statements I remember, and that's about it. Chad asks, are you an IPA fan, stout or wheat, or what? Sorry, that was a play on words. Or what? I do like wheat beers, but I am an IPA fan. In fact, I've been drinking IPA actually all night. This is the first not IPA that I'm drinking. This is actually Fat Tire Wheat. And I figured I'd cap the night with that, but I've been drinking IPA all night. How about you? You drink last birthday, what happened?
I think as all pseudo hipsters do, they go through an IPA phase, and I wouldn't say I'm going through a phase. It's still probably one of my favorite beers. I definitely enjoyed Amber Ale as a close second. This is the Avalanche Amber Ale from local Breckenridge Brewery, but local-ish. Definitely IPA fan, but on my birthday, it was kind of funny. I think that was not so much anything that I said, just I think anytime somebody saw me with a beer around that time, it happened to be one. So on my birthday, suddenly everybody showed up like, well, I don't know what to get him. And he didn't say anything about bringing gifts, which I did that on purpose because I didn't want any. But next thing you know, my fridge was full of IPA. I think I had 4 or 6 six-packs, something like that, people showed up with. Maybe more than that, I'm not sure, because of course I had one in there for myself, and then other people brought beer. Somebody brought me a sampler pack. I think that was one was Fat Tire, one was Blue Moon Brewing Company. So that was definitely good, I'm stocked for the next 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
But I would say IPA, if not close second Amber Ale, and now single malt scotches.
So a bunch of statements. Mr. Independent says you should come to Australia for one day. That'd be fun. Except for Australia is the place where everything can kill you, apparently. Mm-hmm. The most wicked.
And you're not allowed to defend yourself with a firearm.
Unless you have a license. And they do allow that.
They do to a certain extent, yes.
We Americans,
statements, sorry.
Yeah, we Americans do appreciate the fact that if our tyrannical government gets tyrannical, we have the right to take them down. People are like, why do you need a grenade launcher? I'm like, well, I don't have one, but I do need one because, if you're watching Venezuela, it's like that's the government running over their own people. So pretty sad.
I did get only 10 years after they took away all their guns.
Yeah, I don't want to get too political, and there's someone asking about Trump, and I'm not going to get into politics a ton. All I can say is the economy's doing really well, and I'm happy for that because I work in sales, and so when the economy's doing well, I make more money. When I make more money, I can take better care of both myself, my family, and I am very giving. So there are a lot of people, a lot of things, a lot of organizations that my wife and I can help when things are going good. So the better the economy, the better I can pay it forward. And so for me personally, I really appreciate the current economy because I'm able to really pay things forward in a way that makes me feel good about feels good about how I'm paying it forward. Matthew Garcia asked, actually Tin Cup Dallas first asked, he'd heard me talking about being a soldier before. I was in the Navy. He asked if you were, which you weren't, but a lot of people I think assume that, but you were not. And then Matthew Garcia said that you left the force, which was actually law enforcement, which I was law enforcement, but I left law enforcement to sell a product. And he's like, what is it you sell? I sell Sleep Number beds, specifically the brand Sleep Number. So there's that question. World Free Marina says, come to the Philippines. We have beautiful beaches and women. Haha. Plus the food's awesome and the weather too. Funny thing on that, my friend who is late, he crashed in a helicopter 21 years in. He was about to retire. He was actually the lead trainer in South Korea. Him and his buddy Jason both were career trainers and safety officers and Apache helicopter pilots for 21 years. They crashed together, sadly, 3 years ago. Lost them 3.5 years ago. But they both, Brandon, my friend, Brandon Smith, had actually gone down to the Philippines and liked it so much that he actually bought 50% of a scuba diving business down there and went down there all the time to go scuba diving, and he said it was the best scuba diving in the world, and he'd been everywhere, including in the Bahamas and on both of the coasts and in Asia and off of other areas in the Mediterranean. And so I do agree with you. I think you're probably right about the Philippines being pretty good. Andu from my guild and one of my patrons says the May the 4th be with you rewards just arrived in our inboxes, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with these comments, man. It's going crazy.
Have anything for all the connection errors that were going on the other day? I couldn't get through a single Grand Arena event or territory battles without locking up at least a few times and losing a few of them.
So really quick, I'm going to jump to the bottom of comments really quick because it looks like Darth microtransaction is getting out of here. So he says, what's up? He's all enjoyed the chill stream. Have a good night, you two. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad you hopped on for a little bit. He also said that he had fat tire last night, so that's pretty funny. Apropos Woolen says, with a newer account, you get a taste of the fresh gameplay. How long would you guess to get to early gameplay? Also live the Fireside, guys. So that's the thing about my Scissorman account that's really fun is I get a chance to really explore and discover the game as it is now, but brand new, from that point of trying to unlock everything fresh. And I actually have a lot more fun on that account. My main account's got everything, and I'm pretty bored with it, to be honest. I do what I have to. I do my dailies in the morning for like 10 minutes, and then I do my climate like 5:30 really quick in both ships and regular arena, and that's it. That's all I do. And then if I have to go in and do some battles for Grand Arena or Galactic, whatever, territory wars or whatever, I do whatever I have to do. But with my alt account, Scissorman, I really enjoy it. I enjoy doing Grand Arena. I enjoy doing most of the time I enjoy Grand Arena. Right. This time Grand Arena, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, you won't know, but I'm 500,000 GP for characters GP, and I'm going against a guy that has over 800,000 GP character GP. So he's got over 300,000 character GP more than me. And the reason why I was paired with him is because my ships are bomb diggity and his are not. So I could beat his ship node, but the ship node's only
that
one.
evens out, right? You know, ships, characters, whatever, close enough.
Yeah, so I'm getting punished for being a balanced character or game player, which is just too bad for sure. Master KT says favorite personal underrated character, SWGoH Press.
Underrated. I don't know. He keeps on being relevant in a lot of ways, and then he went out for a little bit, but I would have to say General Kenobi.
Yeah, I don't know if he's underrated, bro.
I think for a while there, he was underrated because everybody thought that he was going to die out and be an old character, and it was, of course, right around the time that I actually got him geared up, and then suddenly he was very relevant again. So there was a short little dip there, but I would say up until that point, he was underrated.
So Bobby Roundtree's been a patron for a long time, and he's a friend of mine. He hopped on. He's asked a lot of questions, but he did say that I've slowed down on my videos. Is it because you've been busy? Have I been busy?
To say the least. Yeah, maybe a little. Just a little.
So I work at a store where there's normally 3 of us, and with 3 of us, we're at minimum staffing, but that's all I can have is 3. But at 3, we're at minimum staffing. I had one transfer to Alaska, and another one I needed to get rid of because he was not doing well. And so
Endgame ruiner.
yeah, that guy. So anyway, when you get rid of somebody and there's only 2 of you in a 3-person store, it becomes 1 of you. And when there's 1 of you, you work 7 days a week, open to close. And I'm open, at 8 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. at night. When you're working, 13 hours a day, 7 days a week, it gets to a point where you just don't have the time or energy. Keeping in mind, I am married and I do have 4 children, and I am trying to play this game on the side. So it's been difficult for sure to try to find moments. I mean, look at us. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm live streaming on my porch drinking a beer with a friend of mine because this is the only time I can have social time, and I'm sharing my social time with Jacob and you all because I wanted to chat with all you guys. I love hanging out with everybody that comes onto my live streams. You guys are my online family, so I really enjoy hanging out with all of you. Let's see, K-Bar. Ryan says, are you going to finish your explanation of each pillar? I really probably should bust those videos out for the pillars 2, 3, 4, and 5. There is reason behind all of that, but K-Bar says, I was legit trolling my sub feed looking for my warrior fix, and here you are popping up, so that's cool. Tin Cup Dallas says Australia rocks, other than the firearms stuff. Also, the firearms debate is stupid. Yeah, let's not go there. Apropos says, my wife and I need to buy a new bed, but I got kids, so need affordable. What should we be buying? No, to buy a bed in Canada. You should probably buy like a PSE, Performance Special Edition, coming out in the next couple of weeks. You'll get a stupid good deal, and the bed will last you forever. Literally forever. So check that out. PSE, apropos swoon. Onion Crisp says, what time is it and where are you guys at? It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. It's 1:15 in the morning. And we are in Colorado. It's actually kind of cold. It's why I got a blankie on my legs because I'm wearing shorts. And you're like stretched out like a mermaid.
I'm actually wearing a jacket, though. I mean, I don't normally do that. Depending on the winter around here, I may hop into an actual winter coat at some point. But most of the time, if I'm just making my way from a store to the car or whatever, I'm using a T-shirt and jeans. So, this is a little unusual for me, but I guess we're sitting sedentary and not doing much. And it is, I think it's actually down to about 48 degrees now, so it is a little chilly. But nice to be sitting by a fire. Can't argue with that right there. Beer's sitting good right now. Or 2 or 3, however many it's been. Got another question here. Anakin Skywalker. Oh, hey, nice to have you on the live stream.
Yes, the answer is yes, if you have General Grievous' Zetas for sure.
Yes, if you General Grievous' Zetas. If you have General Grievous in the first place, let alone 7-star, let alone with a Zeta, yeah, definitely. I do actually have him myself up to 6-star now, but I think he's sitting at gear level 3.
Yikes.
Yeah. One of those, backdoor farms, not really relevant right now to everything else that I'm doing, trying to keep up with other stuff. So obviously I never really get to the top of a farm situation unless it turns around and actually ends up being characters I already have when they actually announce it, which hasn't happened in a while. Probably not since CLS, maybe. I don't know. What do we got?
Chad. Chad is
I can't see the questions very well.
yeah, Chad says that he's surprised you haven't lost all your leg hairs. Guess they're by the fire.
I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been checking my shoe temperature here and there.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Onion Crisp says, Sureshot, I hope we go against each other in Grand Arena. I'm 2.5 million GP.
Might not happen unless I go for a pretty offset matchup, because I'm sitting at almost 2.9 myself, and they've been throwing me with pretty like GP guys.
So Bobby Roundtree, my patron who's been with me for a long time, asks, Sureshot, what do you do for a living?
A little bit of everything right now. I guess kind of whatever actually brings in money on a consistent basis, and that has been 3 different things. I've been doing day trading during the morning, and sometimes up until 1 o'clock at night, or in the morning, depending on what China's doing, because they kind of really mark a lot of the markets that I'm working with, and when they actually start trading, that's when things start happening, popping off. But for the other 10 hours of the day, I'm doing appliance repair and handyman work, mostly through friends and family, because I've just kind of built a rapport that way and not really had to advertise. So between all of that, I do more yearly than I used to with working a 55-plus hour a week job supervising a maintenance crew for a property management company. So I definitely don't miss it.
All right, so he's apropos says, I have to invest in SEPs for the Separatist droids. For Padme, main goal, how deep should I go? As deep as you can.
Yeah.
Basically, Gear 12, multiple Zetas. I would do General Grievous Zetas over every other Zeta. And you definitely need Gear 12 characters, Gear 11 characters minimum. And then Turtle Walker, that's pretty cool. You can walk turtles. Says, what? Your free to play account has Darth Revan and is on the top of Squad Arena? No, that's not true at all. I absolutely don't have either one of the Revans in my free to play account. My main account has all of it, and it's boring. My free to play account has none of it, and it's very exciting because I never know where I'm going to place, and I definitely have to fight it out and battle it out. So Onion Crisps says, Sureshot, have you considered opening your own YouTube channel, be a roster reviewer, and make that bang?
There's been consideration of a lot of different things, but I definitely leave that kind of stuff up to the professionals. I do not have the knowledge that would require to keep a channel like that alive, let alone the ambition or the tenacity, because I wouldn't be able to keep with it. But in the future, if you were to see the Sureshot name pop up again, it would be because I finally decided to put all of my creativity to work and actually learn how to edit videos. That's my biggest downfall right now, and I've been shadowing Warrior here quite a bit on that, and he's been giving me some pointers on that, and I just need to actually download the program and put some time into it, because I think that would be something that I would really enjoy and could put some serious effort into, because I have the mentality. I feel like some days I have the personality for it, and I definitely have the ideas flowing at that point, so it's just a matter of actually putting it onto a channel and making it a consistent endeavor. But it'd be more of a variety show, have a little bit of comedy involved. It might have a little bit of how should I say this, aggressive tool reviews, and I would definitely have a little bit of outdoor stuff in there as well, maybe some bushcrafting and possibly even outdoor motorsports reviews as well. So it'd be kind of a mixture of different things, but it would be all things manly. So if you see that name again, it would probably be under that genre, I guess you could say.
Against that genre. All right, so Matthew Garcia says, how can they make Geos better with the coming rework without breaking the game? I'm in the top 3 crushing teams, and I don't even move out of top 10s. Ditto on my alt account, but the Geos aren't the top meta in the end game, so they could do a lot with those guys and make them better, and it would still not break the game for sure. Anakin Skywalker says he has both Zetas on GG, both on AV. B2 has his. Those are all Gear 12. Magnus Gear 10 with no Zetas, and Dooku Gear 11 no Zeta. You should be able to do that event then and get 7 stars with that. Let's see. Apropos says the fresh accounts now are more fun than than in game. That cannot be a good thing. Yeah, I think it's I guess it depends on what's exciting to you. If the things that you do in the early game, the grind, finding the characters, working out your characters is fun, then you'll enjoy that free-to-play life. If you don't, then the end game would be probably more fun. I think some people are happy they don't have to grind for anything anymore. Personally, I actually find it refreshing to have to grind it and find an event where I can't do a tier because I don't have the the characters. It's kind of fun getting those events and realizing, oh, I gotta wait till next time. Gives me something to kind of look forward to, so for sure. Ryan says, what characters do you want added to the game for fun, not purpose, or actually viable? Honestly, I don't really have anyone that's not in the game that I would want in the game. Savage Opress is one of my stupid favorites that's in the game, and he's not very good. And there's not a whole lot of characters I would want in, like Revan or whatnot, that aren't already in. So, how about you? Anybody you'd want to see in?
Definitely looking forward to a Jedi Luke. I really enjoy CLS, and I'm, even from A New Hope on, obviously the whiny Mark Hamill back at that point was a little bit, hard to palate for some people, but I guess I'm just a Jedi when it comes right down to it, and after hearing what used to be canon, I guess now is Legends or whatever, in the books and comic books and all that, I can't imagine why they haven't done more with that character, and I would like to see that fulfilled at least in some way, and the game would definitely be a good way to do that, but I don't know, I guess I kind of like the clones. They've always been more entertaining because I really enjoyed Rebels, so to see them, and I would have to say my second favorite Jedi would have to be Ezra, so they've already hit a few of the goals for me as far as what I'd be looking for in characters. Not to mention, as I like to call them, Shoot First Han or OG Han, Raid Han. They're really covering all my bases.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Ryan says, if the game ever ends, what will you do? I think he's talking YouTube-wise. If the game ever ended, what would I do on YouTube? First off, YouTube was fun. I've had a good time with it. I will continue to make videos on it. I've actually covered 7 other games over the last 3 years, surprisingly. Not a ton of videos on those other games, but I've popped a video here and a video there for other games. I'm always trying new games and trying to see something new, and eventually I'll find something that I kind of dig my heels into. But something like this, the live stream where we do kind of a around the fire, or something where we do comedy or have some fun or skits, things like that.
Some discussion.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot out there that we could do on the channel more than just Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So it's a good time. I love teaching and educating and all of that, but I actually also have fun being a dork. Anyone that hangs out with me knows that. So let's see. There's a few questions in here. I'll just read them. Have you guys listened to the Ram Ranch? Best song out there at the moment. And then he's got a smiley face. I gotta go check that out.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby Roundtree says, Warrior, have you found a team that can beat Darth, Revan, Malak in 3 versus 3 if I don't have either? So what I've been using is Jedi Knight Revan, Yoda, and Anakin. And that kills, normally I kill Bastila on Fallen with that team, and then I go in and I mop up the other 2 characters with another team. A lot of times, like, you can take in Bastila, the light side Bastila, with Jolie and someone like Ezra or whatever. And then also, if you have to have a third team because maybe you don't kill everybody, you get them low, you can go in with Sith Assassin and Savage, and Sith Assassin will speed the team up when you're kind of behind on turn meter anyway. She can do some good damage to health, and then you can smash them with Savage because he's a guarantee kill as long as they're under 50% health. So I'm struggling with that like everybody. Those are really, really tough teams, and the people I face have 7-star Maliks. It's nuts, and I don't. So
that's definitely a two-team battle, though.
2, sometimes 3 on 3 versus 3. Yeah, to win that. I've never beat it on the first go round. Some people on the lower end have told me that they've been able to do it, but I've not been able to do it with anyone I have fought. Although I don't move my mods around a bunch. I leave my mods exactly where they're at, and I try to make them better, but yeah. So, let's see. Apropos says, aside from some ships on ship nodes, my main is on the final things to farm, well, not including gear, so that's good. Seaball24 says, who should I Zeta first? Bastila Fallen, Vader, Boba Fett, or Kylo Ren unmasked? Crew, I would say depends on the team you're running. Crew would be my first choice unless you have a bunch of either Sith or Sith Empire. If you've got Sith or Sith Empire, Bastila Fallen. Well, Bastila Fallen doesn't need her Zeta. I would do Kylo Ren unmasked no matter what, period. That's it. That's the done deal right there.
Good overall.
Yeah, Onion Crisp says, do you think they'll ever add characters that can steal the opponent's moveset? That would be kind of interesting. They kind of have that with turn meter gain and turn meter removal aspects of the game, but no, that would be cool. It's the stealing the opponent's moveset. That is actually very interesting. I don't think they would do that. The coding for that would probably be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, but I like where your head's at.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me of Magic the Gathering, where you use the card clone, and you clone the opponent's card, and you get every benefit that they just paid out, but you only had to pay 4, and they probably paid like 10 to get it out.
Thanks for beefing them up. I'll take that.
Yeah, clones were awesome. I used to use clones for blue on my blue decks. Clones and counter spells. So Anakin Skywalker says, who do you think will be the best 5th under Padme? Barriss, Yoda, C-3PO? Honestly, C-3PO works well, but Yoda works better. So, and then of course the trio. You want General Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Anakin. Those 3 together under Padme, and then Yoda really, really, really works well on there for sure. Onion Crisps says, Matthew, that would be awesome, because Matthew's saying kind of like from Pokemon, so that's another card game I have not played. Played Magic the Gathering a ton when I was younger. I still have my cards and everything. Kira Nest beats Darth Revan in 3v3. Kira Nest is a possible for that. It depends on how beefed out that is. If they have really, really, really high health and protection on their Bastila Fallen, that can actually fall. The Kira Nest can actually fall. I've tried it and lost, so that's a thing. Wow, I used Darth Revan, Malak, and Bastila on D and didn't realize that they were that good that no one ever tries. Yeah, they're definitely tough for sure.
Pesky.
Yeah, Chad says, I know you like CNC Rivals. That's Command and Conquer Rivals. Do you like any other games? Yeah, I do like CNC Rivals. Haven't had a chance to play it in like a month, but I do like it. And I do like Blades, the Elder Scrolls Blades. And it says I've been playing a ton of CNC 3. And you have played the browser Command & Conquer game? Yeah, I have played the PC Command & Conquer game a ton when I was younger, for sure.
Many hours.
Oh, yeah. And then for raids, Territory War, and Grand Arena, do I need to gear 12 all the Night Sisters? Not all of them. Just the 6 that I would suggest are going to be Asajj Ventress, Spirit, Zombie, Ventress, Daka, and Talia. Those are basically the top 6, so definitely do those. And then King Joker, the way he wrote that's interesting. King Joker says Kira Vandor L3, Z Nest, the most annoying scoundrel team that I can run on D, looking to catch people in the back territories. That's a pretty Kira Vandor and L3 are a pretty annoying team, but you know, it can be beat. So it's annoying. There's a lot of annoying teams now on defense, though. Let's see. Who is an underrated team that people get twisted sideways with in 3 versus 3? I'll give one and then you can give one. So one of them that I ran into was HK47 before his rework, and it had T3 and it had Chopper. And that team got me wholly sideways. Took like 3 battles to beat it because I wasn't expecting the double Zeta T3. So that was a mess, but HK is not the same now, so it's not as bad. And then one other team it was a rebel team, and it had Leia going stealth. It had the tank that revives Scarif Rebel Pathfinder that gets buffs, and then it had C3PO. And C3PO, you know, he's like always putting buffs up, so the tank always had a buff, so every time I killed him he came back to life. Even when I tried to use a dispelling team, it just took me by surprise a little bit. I got it beat, but it definitely took me by surprise. So how about you?
Well, at my level, I've noticed that my particular brand of First Order does some pesky defense. I see a lot of people usually throw about 3 teams at him before it actually gets knocked down, and that's a Zated Gear 8 crew, a Gear 11, this is going to be Fox, so he's Gear 10, and then another Gear 8, Kylo Ren. So it's a pretty small team. I think they don't really anticipate it being anything worthwhile, and they send something underpowered in there so they don't waste a lot of time on it, and they end up having to throw 3 teams at it. I also had pretty good luck with General Kenobi lead, Barasafi, and Fives. Pretty interesting mix there. I don't think that's kind of an older one for defense, but it's definitely pesky. And again, under geared for Barris and under geared for Fives at Gear 8 and I think Gear 9, but still do plenty of pesky damage on them. And I guess they just again underestimate them and don't see what they're going to go into.
What console games do you like?
Console games, I'm the kind of guy that really likes the very involved ones, and I'll pay that $60 and decide that, okay, this is a good game to kind of go to bed with for the next few years and kind of play it here and there, because really, I think if you look at an average, I might play 2 to 3 hours a week on most of these games, but I got into Grand Theft Auto 5 for quite a while till I beat that senseless up, down, left, and right, and then still currently working on Fallout 4, and occasionally move into the Red Dead Redemption games. Right now, Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm all the way through the story mode on that. Don't do any of the online gameplay, but looking to finish that out to 100% completion also. So Red Dead Redemption, the first one, and the Undead Nightmare was a great expansion for that. Definitely played those all the way through as well, but those are the ones that I'm currently stuck on.
Sweet. So a bunch of people are kicking out some random teams that are pretty fun. I love the Elder Scrolls series all the way back, Morrowind and Oblivion and all of those. Skyrim, they're all really good. I love Bethesda, and I love everything Bethesda does. So, of course, Fallout and, Fallout 2 and 3 and 4, and I love Fallout.
New Vegas was amazing.
Yeah, New Vegas was pretty fun. Actually, that was one of my lesser favorite ones, but Fallout 4 was really great too. Couple of teams that they're throwing out is like Jin Urso with Captain Han Solo, who revives with SRP. Jin can revive, Captain Han Solo can revive, SRP can revive. So like there's a ton of reviving and buffing going on and dazing going on, which is good. He also mentions Phasma, First Order Officer, and Fox. That's a really great First Order team. If you underestimate that team, you will lose for sure. Yep, lots of great teams. The best team to just unlock Padme with no Droideka or B1. We mentioned this earlier, basically any 5, but you really want General Grievous lead. with a couple droids, and then a couple other separatists such as Asajj Ventress or Sunfac or Geospy. Geospy, he can dispel, and for every single thing he dispels, he does like 40% bonus damage. I've seen my Geospy Gear 11 on my alt account hit for 55k. 55k on
Not
one
my
hit.
Geospy.
Yeah, so well, he was dispelling a ton. So he's actually a really interesting character. You got to kind of play that. So
Right.
a lot of them are
You know
getting
how to
into
play 'em,
that.
too.
Yep, Skyrim was great. That was fun. Let's see, Elder Scrolls for the win for sure, Daniel. I miss your ships videos. No one else had ships like me on YouTube for sure. I definitely need to get back into the swing of things. I definitely plan on getting back into the swing of things. I really apologize. It's been such a hectic time. I've been so busy. It's just been very difficult to find time to, one, record the content, and then B, put it out there and edit it. And so I used to, when I first started, I used to just record ganky-ass videos on my phone and kick them on YouTube, and people didn't care. They were like, hey, man, content's content. And they loved what it was I was showing and really didn't care about anything else. And I think I should probably just get back to that. I think I could kick out a few more videos if I just didn't care about editing, if I just, recorded a battle and threw the battle up. I think people would really enjoy that. So maybe I'll try and get back to that for sure. So Ryan says, which team should I go for after the Jedi? It really depends on what you have. You go for all the legendaries. Once you have the legendaries, go for teams that are going to help you with Sith Raid, and then also any team that's going to help you with, the hero's journeys and stuff like that. Well, it is after 1:30 in the morning, and we've been streaming. Yeah, we've been streaming for about an hour and a half, and I probably should get to bed because I have RSG. We have our live stream in the morning in like 6 hours, so I should probably get to bed so I can get 6 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, something like that, so I can get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and do RSG's live stream. I appreciate the 100 or so of you that jumped on, and for everybody else that watches this after the fact, I hope you guys enjoy the real chill stream. And Matthew really quick says, not trying to stir the pot here, but who do you think is the best at the game personally? I would love to see a grand arena between you and Arnold. There are a lot of great YouTubers, and they all have differing strengths. If it came down to ships, I'd whoop everyone's butt. I really feel if it came down to characters, I think, it'd be like me and Urzatron if we had the same roster. But there's also a few other really great YouTubers out there as well. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. Appreciate you guys letting us chill with you guys. This is just a weird format, but I wanted to kind of do it and just hang out and talk. I'm going to give Sureshot a chance to say later to you guys.
This was Sureshot. Thanks for showing up.
And as always, this is Warrior. Keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.